Hello, welcome everyone. Welcome back to the Brickanista Broadcast Network. And I think I'm actually live now. It's always funny. I've been doing this for a little bit and I still sometimes don't know if I'm doing things properly or not. So I'm just looking and it looks like I'm live now. So I'm looking at my channel here on my ThinkPad because I'm going to be doing something really different today. Today, instead of doing a build or having an interview with somebody, what I'm doing is I'm announcing a new kind of challenge. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to take an image and we're going to incorporate it with some Lego builds, or at least one Lego build. And I've been wanting to do something like this for a while, but I really wasn't sure what the best medium would be. And this was all fortuitous because what happened is that I was on a road trip. And when I was traveling, I had been in a hotel room and the lighting wasn't that great. And you can see the lighting's pretty good in here. So you can see me well, and you can see, there's no shadows. And well, what happened is I was in a hotel room and the light was in a corner and it was like a desk lamp and it was bouncing off a pillow and it came as like an up shadow to me. And while I was doing this, I was just thinking, this looks kind of creepy. I'm in a hotel room streaming live, and I did a Thrifty Thursday episode because I try to be really consistent with my content. And as you know, Thursdays I typically do a set that is $19.99 or less. And I'm happy to say tomorrow is going to be a lot of fun because we're going to be doing that too. And so today I was thinking about this some more because Wednesdays I've been reserving at this special time at 5 o'clock for different kind of content. Because part of it is we started doing these 5 o'clock shows when we were doing the Lego Masters review. And since we don't have Lego Masters on right now, I figured we could do just, special kind of programming. And I've been wanting to do this for a while. And I've been trying to figure out the best technology to do this. And I was playing around with some Streamlabs OBS and it wasn't able to show my screen properly, but StreamYard can do what I'm planning to do today. So if you're wondering what this Spooky Glen challenge is, going back to being in that hotel room. So the light was bouncing off and it was coming up from underneath. And so Glenn, I got him on the stream, but because it was late at night, he doesn't speak. What he does is he just types into the chat. And when we had the image come up, he looked really spooky. I mean, and at one point he turned the lights on and he was normal, but then he went back to Spooky Glenn. So that's how Spooky Glenn came about. And his name's Glenn Copeland, and he did agree to let me use his image. And if you see the thumbnail on Instagram, this is what I am using for my thumbnail. So you can see this image of Spooky Glenn, and I'm going to go back a little bit because it looks like the contrast is a little bit better here. So what I did is I took my YouTube broadcast and I clipped this image. So if you want this image, you can send me an email, brickanista@gmail.com, or you can go to my Discord server and I will put the Discord link in the description of this YouTube channel, or you can go to Instagram and go to my link there. So So I started talking to Glenn. And by the way, Glenn will be on my show tomorrow. We are doing a special 18 plus mature content at 9 o'clock p.m. Pacific time, which is about Squid Game. And as many of you know, Squid Game was pretty violent as far as the content. So I wanted to label it as an adult only type of, or 18 plus type of show. And we are going to do spoilers. And since it's Thrifty Thursday, we are going to be building the Squid Game, or not the Squid Game. We're going to be building the squid from the Deep Sea Creatures set. So that's how we're kind of integrating it and tying it in, is that yes, we will be building Lego. We will be doing this set, this Lego set, and we are going to have special guests Glenn Copeland, also known as Spooky Glenn, and we will also have PT McEwen. So the three of us will be on there. Glenn may not be able to talk because it's going to be late at night for him, but he will make an appearance. So Spooky Glenn will be on the show tomorrow. So what I wanted to just mention, what is this challenge? What is it? It's a mixed media challenge, which many people are doing already. If you notice that many people will do their builds, and what they will do is overlay them with a backdrop, for example, using Photoshop, or they may put in the face of somebody famous, crop it and put it into, the front of a figure. So people have been doing this for a while, but I haven't seen very many people do a challenge specifically asking for mixed media. So what I'm doing is I'm going to show you, I'm going to demonstrate using StreamYard here, my Photoshop file. And I will tell you, my Photoshop skills are kind of intermediate. So if you are an advanced user, I'm sure you can do much more with it. But if you're a beginner, there's some simple things you can do as well. And in fact, if you don't even want to do a build, you can just take this photo and make a meme out of it. And you can just put some text on the top and some text on the bottom, and you've made a meme, and that counts too. So we're encouraging people to use Photoshop and integrate it with their building skills. And I thought that there might be some cool things to do combining his image with my bonsai tree. So many of you know that I've done a bonsai tree in a spooky kind of feel. I've done two different versions. I've done one without a face and one with a face. So the second one to make it look like a monster. And when I did that, I submitted it to the Tricky Bricks Build a Monster Challenge, and it got some really good feedback. So that's what we're going to do today. And super, super excited because this is something brand new, and we'll see where it goes. And who knows if Spooky Glenn is going to take off or not. Oh, brothers from another brick. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, I'm announcing this new kind of challenge. What this is a mixed media challenge where I'm taking Glenn's face, which he gave me permission to do, is that we're going to take Glenn's face and we're going to incorporate it with a Lego build using Photoshop, or you can use Canva or whatever media you want to use. You don't have to use Photoshop, but just for today's demonstration, that's what we're going to do. So I hope you're doing well. I saw your recent post about something that you got arrested for something. It's going all right. How's it going? Oh, it's going Glenn's beautiful face. Yes, it is Glenn's beautiful face. We're calling him Spooky Glenn. So if you want to, you post on Instagram and use the hashtag Spooky Glenn. In fact, this is a challenge I know you can do really well, brother from another brick, because BFAB, for those of you who don't know BFAB, he does a really good job with editing. And I think that, yeah, I know you have an Instagram account. So you could just do a meme using this photo. So you can go to my Discord server, or if you want to send me an email, brickanista@gmail.com, then the Photoshop arrest thing. Exactly. I know you can do this challenge. This is very easy. You just take Glenn's image and you can make a meme out of it. That's one way to do the challenge. Another way to do the challenge is to incorporate it with a Lego or a brick build. And I think this is going to be a lot of fun. So anyway, yeah, the Photoshop arrested thing. I know you can do this challenge. And like I said, you don't even have to put Lego in it. You can just take Glenn's face and put it in a situation if you want. I'm like, I don't think I've been arrested in 5 years. Yeah, well, I didn't want to say all the text that your Photoshop meme had as far as how you were arrested. But yeah, the Photoshop arrested thing is what I'm referring to. So yeah, so welcome to the stream. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen and show you my Photoshop as far as what I'm going to do. And we can do this in a couple simple ways. In fact, I'm glad you're here, BFAB, because you could come up with some hilarious phrases. So I'm going to go ahead and, oops, Let me go back and share this. StreamYard is something I'm still getting used to. Okay, so I think I have this, and let me just double check, because one thing about StreamYard is, yep, you can see it. Okay, so this is the file that I've imported into Photoshop. I called it Ghoulie Glenn just because I like the alliteration, but we introduced him as Spooky Glenn. And Spooky Glenn appeared, I think, last Thursday on my stream when I was traveling back from Arizona. And so he showed up on, in this clip. If you don't like this clip, you can also go back to my YouTube channel and watch that episode and find a clip of him and take that. But I think just for ease, we're going to use this one. So yeah, you were confused for a second. Well, like I said, you don't have to be confused. I do keep up to date with some of the things that you and other streamers are doing. All right, so I'm going to go back to my Photoshop. And just to kind of give you a sense that this is the other image I'm going to use. So this is my bonsai tree that looks like, you know, a face, a monster face. So I've been thinking about how would I do this challenge versus how other people might do this challenge. So the first thing I think, which would be an easy thing to do, is that we could make this a meme. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm just going to take some text. We're going to create a text layer. And this is going to be our background. So this is the simplest thing you can do, is that you can just type in text here. And we're going to have to, I use Montserrat, but I'm not sure what a good font is. But let's make this font big to start with. Let me see if 60 is going to be too big. Okay, that's probably a good size to start. So your boy Glenn is looking like Gandalf. Yes, yes. That's maybe Gandalf says. And let me make the color white. So you can see all I'm doing is adding a layer of text here. You know? So I'm just going to make something up, and this is a little bit too big. So let's make this 56. Yeah, that's probably good. Let's start with that. I'm using Montserrat. I'm not sure what other fonts you might want to use. Yeah, maybe let's see. We were talking the other day about "Thou shalt not pass" is actually what Gandalf says instead of "None shall pass," which is what the Black Knight says in the Holy Grail. So maybe we'll say Gandalf says, I'm just going to type in something silly here, like don't touch my bricks. Oh, uh-oh. You can see I've got to change this because it's only got a 14. So let's do 56. Okay, so let's just take a look at this for a moment. So you can see that it's kind of touching. So I want to make this a little smaller, at least the font size. Let's go with 52. And let's see what 56 goes back to. Yeah, we might need to make that bigger. Let's go with 60. Yeah, I know for you, BFAB, this is something that you you do all the time. So so, and like I said, this is just a really silly thing, but I don't know. This could be a good first one. Don't touch my bricks. Right? So, all right. So this is just like I said, an easy way to do this. I'm going to make this just a little bit smaller because it looks like it's touching. Yeah, that might work out great. Okay, I kind of like that. Now you probably noticed that this looks a little flat. So one thing I like to do is I like to put a black shadow behind my text. And really the easy way to do this, we'll start with, or actually I might be able to use like a gray. Maybe a gray would be better. Well, let's start with this bottom one. So I just make a copy of this layer. And then you know that layers in Photoshop, the top layer is what's above and the bottom layer is below. So this one I'm just going to relabel as white. So the white text, and then this bottom one, we're going to call this black text. Okay, so what I do just to make things easier is I hide this top layer, and then this layer is a copy, and I just highlight it again. And this one I'm going to make black. So let's go to character, make this black. And you notice that it's going to blend in with the backdrop, but that's okay. So, and then what I do is I offset it by moving it using my arrow key. So I will move it, say 5. Oops, sorry, I got to move this over here. So it moves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go 6. Okay, and then we go back to the layers and then reveal the top layer, and you can see it pops a little bit. So, and maybe I could have it pop a little bit more. This is still highlighted, so I can move it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 12 clicks offset. So I think now that I know that's 12 clicks, then I could go back now and do the same thing with the Gandalf. And we'll copy this. And like I said, for me, it just helps me to just say what's white and what's black. And we'll put this over here. And oops, I just want to rename this. Sometimes it can get a little finicky here. Okay, well, you know what I'm trying to do. So, all right. And once again, I'm going to hide this. And then this one's highlighted. And we're going to use the text. And oops, select all and make this one black. Click on character. Now I noticed that it looks like StreamYard has truncated my window. So you may not be able to see all the controls on the right side. I think it's working okay, but I'm just noticing that. Okay, I'm going to go back and click on this move bar, the move tool, and then we're going to do this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, and go back to layers, show the top layer, and there you go. So it just has a little bit of depth to it, not a lot, but this could be my first meme. And I'm just noticing that this looks like it. Let me see if I can. I'm going to just take both of these. You can highlight both and move them together. And I think if we move it there, that's a little more center. And like I said, I'm just kind of judging it based on my eye. Maybe I'll move it up just a hair. You want to see his beautiful face. Here we go. So this is the meme version. And then, you know, all you have to do is this is already formatted, I think, as, let me just check the canvas size. Let's see, canvas size. All right, this is 960 by 975. Ooh, I should have made it 960 by 960. Let me do that now. And so the height's going to come down a little bit. I think that's going to be okay. Let's go ahead and, yeah, so that's not bad. So now it's perfectly square, and it looks like it took some from the bottom too. So I'm going to move that up just a little bit. So we're going to take that and that, move this up a hair, and let's move that to the side. Okay, I think, I mean, if I really wanted to go the Gandalf route, I would probably say, "Thou shalt not touch my bricks." But for the sake of this demo, this probably is enough. So I'm glad you liked that. All right, so if you're in Photoshop, you can do a save. Well, first of all, I'm going to do a save as, because if you look up here, this is a PNG file. So I'm going to save this as, and save this on my computer. I'm going to call this, let me put this into my Photoshop files. Yep, I got a lot of Photoshop files. We're going to call this Spooky Glen Meme. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And okay, so now the actual file with all the layers is saved. And I just want to make sure that I'm going to go back and just check the chat real quick, because sometimes my chat, dang, that's a lot of files. Yes, I know it is a lot of files. Oh, Zach Martinez, how's it going? Yeah, the spirit of Spooky Glen. Yeah, we're doing a meme right now, and then we are going to do an incorporation of Spooky Glen into a brick build using Photoshop. You can use different programs, like I said, Canva is another one that's really popular. You can use a meme maker if you want. And if you want this file of Glen, just send me an email or go to my Discord server. So this is this is what we're doing today. All right, so I'm going to go back to my Photoshop and let's save this. So we've saved it as a Photoshop file. Now we're going to export it. And what you can do is that you can see this is 960 by 960, which is what I just resized. And you can save it either as a PNG file, which if you have transparent layers, which we'll talk about in a little bit, is really helpful. And sometimes, at least with YouTube, when I've had to create thumbnails, they ask for the smaller file size. So for the sake of this, we're just going to leave it as is, and we're going to go ahead and save as a JPEG. And you can see where it says JPEG spooky meme. All right, that's my desktop. I'm going to put it into my YouTube files. And yes, I have a lot of files here too. So, but at least I know where to find it. Okay, so now when I go back, I can post this onto Instagram. It's square, so it's perfect for Instagram. And I'm going to say this is my first submission to the Spooky Glen Challenge. And it's hashtag Spooky Glen. So, yeah, I do need to clean up my desktop. You're absolutely right. I have a lot of files. I tend to be very chaotic in even in my desk too. If you were to look at my desk with all of my Lego, it's all over the place, but I'm an artist. That's the way things are. Okay, so now that we have this and we've already have this saved, what we can do now is I can, let's see, how do I want to do this? I can go back and open recent and let's see, Ghoul Glen. I think Ghoul Glen is gone now. I think I changed the name of this. Okay, so why don't we do this? I am going to show you a trick which I like to use, and I have here. I wanted to show you. This is the other image that I'm going to use. This is my tree monster. And what I've done is I've taken all the backdrop off and I've made it into a PNG, taken out the background. Oh, Gary Mullane, how are you? Welcome. What I'm doing is I'm doing the Spooky Glen Challenge. So this is the meme version of the Spooky Glen Challenge. This is one. And then the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to superimpose his face, I think, where this monster's face is. I think that's the way I'm going to do this. Either that, there's two different ways I was thinking about doing this. I could either do it this way, or I've already taken the backdrop off, and I can show you how to do that if you want to learn how to do that. And maybe put his face up here as another option. So let me show you how I transfer layers between different files. So what I'm going to do here is this arrange button up here in the window. I like to do something called tile all horizontally. So you notice that I have a couple of different files open. And this top one is one I've been working on for tomorrow's episode, which I've already posted. So if I can see anyone with a clear Lego workspace, I worry. That's great, Zach. Okay, so going back to the layers. So let's just use this one, for example. So I'm going to go back and highlight this one, which we were just working on. And you notice that the background is what we used for the image. So I'm just going to do this. And this is so simple. You just click and drag. So you click that over, you drag it here, and now it's a layer here. So I'm going to do the same thing where I'm going to click on this and then take the background and drag it over here. So now I have two layers that are within each of those files. So let me go back and arrange the windows. We're going to arrange them back to consolidate. And clearly this one is too big. So we're going to have to resize this. And you can do an edit transform. And you can do a transform and scale. And there's a couple different ways to do this. For something this big, what I usually do is I go up here and I do a percentage. So this is at 100%, so I'm going to do 50% here and 50% here. And there you go. You still have your square of Glen. And that was a pretty quick way to do that. Now, this is something that might be a little bit harder to do, because if I wanted this image to be, I don't know, well, I'm going to think about this in a couple different ways. So this particular one is the transparent image. And let's go to the other one, which is the spooky tree here. This is the one with the, okay, where's the other one? There's the other one. So remember, the other one had that, oops. All right, so let's scale this down again. And you could also do it this way. In fact, why don't I show you this? I hold the shift key down and you can just click and drag like this. So you can arrange it. In fact, for this particular one, we may want to do that because we want to center it over the tree. We kind of want to make this fit where that face was. So you can see this is kind of where I was going with a few ideas. In fact, since we're working on this, you can see I've scaled it two different ways, using the arrow scaling key, or the other way where you do percentages. So you know what, since we're showing this one, why don't we go ahead and do this? And I'm going to zoom. So you can use the window command, and oops, I thought you could do it from here. I thought there was a zoom here. Where's the zoom? Okay. Oh, it's in view. Sorry, wrong window, or wrong menu. So we want to zoom in, and you can use this view and zoom in, or Control plus if you wanted to do that. So let's zoom in again. So you can see that these portions of the image are, they're layered. So some of the things that I do, what's the challenge? Put Glen's photo in a mock? Exactly. That's the challenge. It's called the Spooky Glen Challenge. So you pretty much take Glen's image. You can either make a meme out of it, or you can incorporate his image into one of your mocks. So it's called a multimedia challenge. So here's something that I tend to do is I like to use the erase tool, because this is a layer. So if I just erase here, oops, don't want to erase too much. Let me do this a little bit on this side, because don't forget we have those eyes that, so just for a rough cut, I will kind of trim some of these pieces off, and we can blend it in a little bit. I just want to show you just kind of roughly what we're doing. And sometimes you hide the layer to kind of see what you're working with. Okay. Yeah, so for this image, I'm taking Glen's face and incorporating it into the tree. So essentially the tree now has Glen's face on it. So yeah, this is a multimedia, it's kind of a build challenge, because you can build something to go with it. So yeah, so here we're just, you see how I'm just kind of trimming around the edges here, just to kind of give it a smoother look, and still also reveal some of the parts underneath. So like this part, I think we probably want some more brown here. This is fine, but yeah. Link to the photo. You could go to my Discord server. It's on the announcements side. I just put the announcement there, or you can send me an email and I'll mail it to you. So yeah, but that's essentially what we're doing, is we're incorporating Glen's face into our mocks, which I think, you know, it's also building your skills. So if you think about it, part of, you know, what we're doing as a community is also helping each other build our skills up. So you notice what I'm doing here. Let me show you underneath. You see how this green eye is kind of in the way? So another thing I could do is manipulate the bottom layer and, you know, create something new from there. And this green is pretty bright, so I'm going to unlock this layer and I'm going to match the color. So I'm going to take this brush tool. Oops, that's really big. I'm going to reduce the size of that. And I use the left bracket if you're wondering how to do that. And then you can click the, I think it's the control key. Nope. And one of these keys, function key. Oops. Oops. No, I didn't want that. Go away. Okay, maybe it is the alt key. There it is. So you see if I click the alt key, you have this eyedropper. And the eyedropper, you can pick a color. So I'm going to pick this color right next to it. And I'm just going to fill this in. So then that way, when we try to trim, it won't be so obvious with the green. This side isn't so much of a problem because you have this jut out here. So if we overlay this again and we start trimming, and like I said, I use the erase tool. So I just put the erase tool. Oops. Oh, no, no, no. You got to select the right layer. So, select the correct layer that you want to hide. Yeah, so you see that just that little bit helped to kind of finesse it a little bit. Yeah, that's looking, actually, that's looking pretty good. It's not bad. So, yeah, and I know, like I said, I'm kind of an intermediate Photoshop person. If you have really advanced skills with Photoshop, you can do wonders with this. So, yeah, so it sounds like people are sounds like people are interested in this, which is great. Okay, so I'm going to look again, see what's underneath here. Okay, I've got a lot of white space, so I have a lot of room to play with here. And you notice, oops, you notice that I have kind of made the tree trunk a little bit fatter just to incorporate Glenn's image in here, which I think is going to look okay. So let's see, if we want to make this look more Lego-ish, we might want to block that off. And okay, so let's take a look and see how that looks. So we're going to zoom out again. Let's see, zoom, view, zoom out, and zoom out. That's actually pretty good. So this is another way you can incorporate Glenn's image. I think it's a little bit too far to the left. I'm going to see if we can nudge that over and maybe scale it down just a hair. So you notice when it changes, you can just, yeah. So essentially I have taken Glenn's face and made it, incorporated it into this tree. So I don't know, I think that looks pretty good. That's not bad. And like I said, if you look at the whole image, I rounded this enough so it kind of takes the bend. If I were to, maybe this looks a little too square, so I might lighten this up a little bit here. So let me zoom in on that again. So we're going to zoom in. And like I said, it looks really square just because of the way it was cropped. So there's a couple ways we could do this. One of them I want to try is this rubber stamp tool. So this rubber stamp tool will take a section, and wow, that's a big section. We're going to make that smaller. It'll take a section and then take a copy of that section and then rubber stamp it right next to it. So to kind of blur this edge a little bit, I think we're going to do that. And once again, you hold the Alt key down and you see how it turns into like a lifesaver. So you click on that, and that is pretty much taking the rubber stamp ink, and then I'm going to place it down here. And you can see it's kind of blurring the edges a little bit. It's not perfect, but it's not too bad. So you see now he's got kind of more of a rounded beard instead of the squarish beard. And I think I'll just do a few more here. Yeah, that's not bad. And, you know, it's going to be small, so I'm not too worried about it being perfect. And I'm going to take the eraser tool and get that little bit of black out there from his image and round it up just a little bit more. Yeah, and maybe around here, show more of that. Actually, that's a little too much. Yeah, let's just get this top portion of it. Yeah, so I think that looks pretty good, like I said. And I did get permission from Glenn to do this. And I'm sure Glenn has appeared on many of your streams. So we're trying to make Spooky Glenn a thing. We'll see if this works. I just want to see behind here again. Yeah, we have a lot of space here. So I could also trim this down a little bit more, just to kind of give more of the shape of the tree. And I know my hand's a little shaky. Whoa, thank goodness for the Control Z. You can, oh gee. Like I said, I need to break out my not my trackpad, I have a Wacom tablet, which I have not been using as much as I should, but I'm just trimming around the edges here just to, oh gee. Okay, that's probably not too bad. And let's just go ahead and, like I said, the other way I do it is I just do little chunks and just take them off. And like I said, from a distance, it will not look too bad. But I think we're trying to get away from the squareness of this all. Okay. Actually, that's not too bad. And I tend to be maybe a little more particular and my own worst critic, but I think this is going to look pretty good. So let's now zoom out. That's pretty cool. So I hope you're enjoying that. I'm actually really happy with that. That looks pretty good. Okay, so I'm just going to catch up on the chat a little bit. So yeah, looks like I'm up to date. You love it? Okay, good. Brother from another brick. Okay, so this will be my second one to the Spooky Glenn challenge. Is I just put his face on the tree trunk where the monster's face was. And you could tell that I had to do a little bit of, massaging with Photoshop just to kind of get it to fit properly. I had to expand on the beard a little bit. And I think it looks pretty hilarious, actually. That is pretty funny. Now, if I wanted to, I could do something similar to what I did. If you look at, let's see, I think it's this one. Okay, so in this case, let me take this layer off. You see how the tree monster is on what's called a transparent background? So I could layer this on top of things without the white of the square being in the way. So if I wanted to, just as a quick and easy way to do this, is that I could, let me see if I could just take that layer. In fact, let me hide this layer for a moment. We're going to do the same thing, and we're going to do a window. Sorry, my camera is in the way of this. There we go. Arrange and tile horizontally. So this is what we're going to do. Is you notice that in this one that we worked on, we did all the sizing and everything on this layer one. In fact, let me rename this to. Okay, it's not letting me rename. Okay, well, we're going to take layer one and put it up here. Okay, so there's what we did already. And we're going to go back and arrange to all tabs. And then we're going to just move this into position. Pretty much. That's pretty close. The only thing I have to do is nudge it a little bit up here and then hide. Remember, we hid that little green section right up here. We darkened it to be black, so we just need to do that again. So I'll take the brush. Oops. that layer, what's going on with that layer? Oh, that's the layer I want. Okay. So we take the brush, Alt, grab that color, and then we're gonna just fill in that little bit of, oops, that little bit of green just to hide it. Okay, and now if we put that layer back, there we go. So now we have a transparent one that's all together. So now the Spooky Glen tree, and if I really wanted to, I could take out the whole tray and just leave the tree and have this kind of show up later. But for now, I'm going to save this. Yeah, save this on my computer again. And this one is Spooky Monster Tree Edit. Yeah, I think we'll go ahead and do that. Okay. So let's see. So I think that, you know what, this might be a good place. And like I said, the last thing we need to do is export as, and we're going to export this one as a PNG file. And the last one we did was exported it as a Photoshop file, but we're going to do this as a PNG. Okay. All right. So now I can post both of these onto the Spooky Glen. Spooky Glen. We have the meme and we have this version that we can post. Okay, I'm going to go back to the chat and see what you all think. So, okay, so we have those two that, and if I wanted to, I can also add a little addition in text if we wanted to. I mean, there's a couple different things we could do with this. But if you want to, I can show you how to make something transparent really easily. I could do a quick demo of that, or we could just leave it right here. So let me get some ideas from the chat. So this is a pretty short stream, but I wanted to show you what this new challenge is about. And so, in fact, what I'm going to put into the chat is, this is the Spooky Glen challenge. And essentially, you're going to use Glen Copeland's, you're going to use the Spooky Glen image and either make a meme or incorporate into a build. And there's different ways you can incorporate things. In fact, I'll probably do a few more. And you could, you know, take Photoshop, rotate his face a little bit or angle it or have him in a different situation. So one thought I had was maybe showing him underwater. That would be kind of cool. But yeah, so and this starts today and runs until October 31st at noon Pacific time. Because on Halloween day, I am going to be on the air with Lena. So many of you know them as Masked Rider Gaming. And I'm going to do another Brickanista on the Move episode. And we were either going to build or we might do this. And if Glenn's available, of course, we'll have Glenn reviewing also the Spooky Glen builds. Yeah, so this is what we're going to do. And just as a kind of a recap, let me go back and show you again. This is Spooky Glen, which is incorporated into a tree. And then the other one, let me see if I can pull that up. I think that's one where he's regular. This one, Gandalf says, "Don't touch my bricks." So that's the meme I created earlier for those of you who joined the stream later. But yeah. It's a fun little thing to do. And Glenn and I were talking. I said, you know, we need to make that image a meme. And he goes, okay, I'm game, no problem. So he said I could do that. And you probably know that Max, who also appears on my stream several times, that Max has also used his image as a backdrop. It's a great picture. I know. It's a great photo. So it's on my Discord server, or send me an email and I'll send you the file. And it'd be great to have you participate in that. And Doc, since you're here, let me just mention that on my Twitch stream on Monday, we had a discussion with Banshee BP. And Banshee BP, Thrawn's Revenge, Shock the Toast, me, Eric, our Brick Brain TV, streamers, whether you're on YouTube or Twitch, we're going to have a Pacific Northwest winter kind of gathering. So I know you were talking about that. I know you're already doing a gift exchange, but I wanted you to know that I put your name in and I told Banshee BP to reach out to you. And we're going to try to find a venue. So I'm in charge of finding the venue. So I'm working with Brick Brain TV on that. And then Thrawn's Revenge is working on the title of the event. Yes, exactly. Pacific Northwest represent. And then Banshee BP is working out the logistics of coordinating the gift exchange and who's going to be there. And they're coming from Pasco, which is interesting because that's about a 2 or 3 hour drive from here. And the guys in Pasco, it was weird. Banshee BP and Shock the Toast both live in Pasco. They're both Lego streamers and they didn't know each other. And they were both on my stream at the same time. So it kind of introduced them that way. So the date that we're going to do that is December 5th. So put that on your calendar, Sunday, December 5th. We're still figuring out the time and the venue and where we're going to meet and all of that. It might be a little farther east from here, so it might be equidistance for driving. But I also suggested a couple places here in Seattle, and they said, yeah, they'd be down for that. So just wanted to see if you're down for that, let me know. And if you know of any other Pacific Northwest, specifically Seattle area streamers who want to meet in person, that we're going to do that. So I'm really, really super stoked about that. I'm super excited and happy to be involved. Okay, my friends. Well, this is good. This is a nice short stream announcing the hashtag Spooky Glen Challenge. There's only one person who used that hashtag Spooky Glen. So we're just going to inundate it. They haven't used it for over a year. So we're just going to use that Spooky Glen hashtag. And I'm going to go ahead and post these photos on the Instagram as part of the Spooky Glen Challenge. We'll take it from there. So anyway, thanks again, everybody. And as you know, you're listening to the Brickanista Broadcast Network. If you want to reach me, you can send me a note at the Brickanista Broadcast Network, P.O. Box 31956, Seattle, Washington. And once again, thanks, everybody. And I'll be back tomorrow. In fact, I should mention, here, let me go back and go to this screen because I wanted to also mention Glenn will be here tomorrow along with P.T. McEwen. And what we're going to be doing is we are going to be doing a Squid Game spoiler show while we're building a squid. So let me show you this. Hold up. Let me see. All right. Let me see if I can get this correct. Okay, that's a little bit big. Let me make it this way. Okay, here we go. So this is the thumbnail for tomorrow's show, which is at 9 o'clock Pacific time. And you can see Spooky Glenn will be there along with P.T. McEwen and me. And we're going to be building the Deep Sea Creatures set number 31088. And we're going to talk about Squid Game spoilers while we're building the squid. So that's the plan. And we were brainstorming about this and we thought that would be a lot of fun. So we're going to be doing that. So just FYI, tune in tomorrow at 9 o'clock and we will be having a Squid Game spoiler show while building the Deep Sea Creatures set. So thanks again, everybody. Great chatting with you. And as they say on the Brickanista Broadcast Network, may the clutch be with you. Take care, everyone. Bye.